Folks, the 2018 midterm elections promise to be a big deal here in Minnesota, with a number of historic seats up for grabs, including the governor, both senators, all 8 representatives, and the entire Minnesota House. Earlier this month, on February 6th, the election officially kicked off as the DFL and Republican parties each hosted their annual caucuses. For more on this, we turn to our senior DFL and Republican correspondents, Lefty Malone and Art Wright.
Thanks, John. Once again, the caucuses were a resounding success. Frankly, there's no better way to tap into the public's interests and concerns than a 3-hour-long in-person event held on a school night.
You said it. All in all, millions of Minnesotans stayed home, while mere thousands came out to begin the process of selecting candidates for the midterm elections.
Sounds great. So I imagine you have results for us, right?
Whoa! This isn't some hippy-dippy Green Party primary, John, okay? Put away your kombucha and get a real job, why don't you? Because this is a caucus.
Pardon him, he runs hot. But he has a point, John. Us political junkies have been waiting all year for this day. This is our Super Bowl, but better because a Minnesotan actually has a chance at winning.
This isn't just about the final score, John. It's about the process.
And what an amazing and simple process it is. First, you have the caucuses, where each of Minnesotans' more than 4,000 precincts meet to discuss the issues.
This isn't just local politics. This is uncomfortably local politics. You know that creepy neighbor you always avoid eye contact with in the hallway? Well, now you get to spend an hour with him talking about gun control.
And then everybody elects delegates to send to the party conventions.
Delegates?
Party activists, John, like the elderly.
Women of color, women, people of color.
The elderly.
LGBTQ activists, youth voters.
And the elderly.
Basically, the backbone of the party who we take for granted every year.
Next, those delegates go on to a series of what are called Basic Political Operating Units, or BPOWs. And then a series of district-level conventions that are conveniently scheduled at literally more than 100 different days and times.
After that, we go to the state conventions in June.
No, wait, you forgot about the filing period.
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure this out, okay?
It's March.
Oh,
you had one job.
You can't talk to me like this. This is a blue state.
This is a purple state.
What, you talk to your gun like that at home?
I wish you could be this laissez-faire about the economy.
Next, you have the filing period for candidates, which is a whole other thing we can't really get into right now. And then
the state convention in June, by which point all the Russian sleeper agents will have been installed, and more importantly, the delegates will meet to choose their party endorsements.
Did you say something about Russians?
Delegates, John. The delegates meet to endorse a candidate.
Okay, so that's it, right? Then we have a candidate from each party, right?
What? Of course not, John. This is just for the endorsements. We still have to get to the actual primary elections in August.
Seriously, this all seems pretty overly complicated.
Overly complicated? Are you kidding me? Honestly, John, if you don't look at this and don't understand our nearly 5-month-long electoral process, then maybe you shouldn't vote at all.
You know, between you, me, and the ghost of Nancy Reagan, I didn't really want you voting anyway. Speaking of which, can I see both of your IDs?
Not now. But by far the biggest event of the night was the gubernatorial straw poll.
Oh yeah, that's where people vote for those they think should be the candidates for governor, right?
You got it. And this year, the big winner on the DFL side was Congressman and part-time birthday clown Tim Walz. Followed by State Auditor Rebecca Otto and Representative Aaron Murphy. It was a close race, which means Democratic voters still have a lot of questions. Is Walz too centrist for progressives? Is Murphy too progressive for centrists? What is a state auditor anyway? We may never know. What we do know is that the ideal Democratic candidate needs to shake things up while at the same time maintaining the status quo. They need to change spending without raising taxes or cutting services. They should love/hate the police the same way Ross does Rachel on Friends. And like me when I'm on a tight deadline, they need to avoid scandal at all costs.
Scandal?
Honestly, anything you could put the word gate after. Deflategate, Bridgegate, Beachgate, Chinagate, Emailgate,
Fajita-gate, Pizzagate, Pastagate.
Colgate, Monica-gate, and am I missing something?
Watergate?
Don't try to show off, John. But yes, essentially, we want to ensure nothing like that can happen again.
And by following this process every year, we do.
You know, that doesn't really seem
And
to
on
do-
the Republican side, the winner was former gubernatorial candidate and most commonly used fake name for witness protection, Jeff Johnson. And coming in second place and beating out the likes of Mary Giuliani Stevens and Keith Downey was undecided.
Undecided.
I know how it sounds, John, but as a candidate, undecided has a lot of things going for them. Name recognition, no scandals, and no pesky voting record to weigh them down. John, Republican turnout at the caucuses this year was at an all-time low. And if Republicans can't find a candidate to really inspire them, well, they might as well go with a totally generic blank slate.
Okay, so it seems clear that it's going to be Waltz and Johnson in November, right?
Not so fast, John. True, the gubernatorial straw poll is incredibly important, but it also doesn't matter at all.
She's right, John. In 2010, Marty Seifert won the Republican straw poll, but lost the endorsement and the nomination to Tom Emmer.
That same year, Mark Dayton didn't even put his name on the ballot, and he still ended up the nominee.
I didn't vote for him.
So
We know.
what's the point of doing this?
The thrill! Also, straw polls are a great way to gauge public opinion and to help narrow the field early on, because the last thing anybody wants in an election is too many choices. For example, after doing poorly in the DFL caucuses this year, Paul Thiessen and Chris Coleman both dropped out of the race.
It's been 7 hours, 13 days since you took your love from me.
They're right, John. Losing the straw poll is a bad sign, but winning isn't necessarily a good one. It's like that time Michelle Bachmann won the Iowa presidential straw poll in 2011 and then dropped out after the first primary. It's okay, buddy.
She was the voice of a generation.
She really wasn't.
She was our Helen of Troy.
The point is, John, democracy is messy. Anything can happen. And that's what makes it so exciting. Depending on who gets out there and makes their voices heard, any one of these candidates could end up governor. Or maybe someone totally different. Former Governor Tim Pawlenty announced he's leaving his lobbying job and he started talking with potential donors, so maybe he might get in the race.
Really? Tim Pawlenty might get in the race? T-Paw, pasta sauce, Paw La Land? I have to go talk to my local organizing unit.
That's the spirit.
Lefty Malone and Art Wright, everybody!
Time's up, everybody.
Vote red!
No, don't.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube video. Make sure you click subscribe to watch the best Minnesota-focused satire around.